some hot takes from content creators we're gonna respond to. Before we get into it, friendly reminder. What I talk about on the stream, I'm never attacking the creator. I'm never attacking the person. I'm only attacking the argument, whether I agree or disagree. Keep in mind, we only talk about games. Don't be getting personal with shit. But this one, the caption was story games are the backbone of a gaming. Then we're gonna get into some articles before we get on this game real quick.
I got a few seconds, so just hear me out. Story games or single player games are the backbone of gaming. You didn't wake up or just start playing.
Shout out to Timoni, access denied, by the way.
Multiplayer games out of the gate. You had to learn how to play video games. So you played either a story mode or you played like Mario, because a lot of us started out with Mario, and that's how you learn how to play video games. You can't be competitive all the fucking time. And yes, I can completely get in a party with my friends and not play the same game with them and still have those bro moments. But hear me out. I love playing Call of Duty, 2K, Ark Raiders, Marvel Rivals, just like anybody else. But the games I enjoy the most are games where it's just me versus the PC. Ghost of Tsushima, fucking Zelda. I love playing fucking Zelda. I recently got into playing World of Warcraft, and I'm absolutely fucking obsessed with playing it. And I don't even play with other people. It's just be me in this vast world fucking questing. So, single player games are the shit to me.
You get the gist of it. So this is what I got to say about this one. I thought this was interesting. It came across my timeline. I would say he's right for the most part. The only thing I disagree with on this take is he said we all grew up playing Mario. No, nigga. Me and you grew up playing Mario. You showed your age on that, but not everybody grew up playing Mario, bro. Unfortunately, why some people have this take that multiplayer gaming is better than single player gaming is because, unfortunately, there is a demographic of gamers that grew up and their first game they ever played was Call of Duty. There's a lot of people who were ushered in during the Fortnite era. And they just kind of stuck within that genre, that comfort zone of multiplayer. So then what happens is it created this segmented section of gaming where they don't try anything else for whatever. It could be for any reason. And they just kind of stick with that. And then they kind of talk down on single player games. And every year they get mad at the Game Awards and say, oh, nobody played that shit. Da, da, da. They're not in the know. But I agree with you for the most part. I will say I agree with you. Gaming is the backbone of gaming. And I think because those gamers who grew up playing Fortnite and maybe Call of Duty 2K, like another game besides Fortnite that ushered in a lot of gamers was NBA 2K. Specifically, I would say 2K15 and 16. 14 is when they first implemented the park, but 15 and 16 is when it exploded. That's when all the YouTubers and streamers started playing the game. And every kid wanted to get in the park and become the next big park creator. So like there's been various points in time throughout the 2010s and 2020s that ushered in new types of gamers, and it's just all that they know. So then they end up giving bad takes about single player games that they never played. And it's just genuine ignorance, unfortunately. But please understand, he is correct. Single player games are the backbone of gaming. And let's get something straight for those unaware that think single player games are corny, because I've seen videos of people talking about single player games are corny. Please realize, if it wasn't for single player games, you would not have 2K, you would not have Call of Duty, you would not have Fortnite. Single player games save the industry. Gaming was considered a fad back in the 70s and 80s that was going to die once kids got sick of this shit. Then a little plumber came along and saved the industry with Nintendo. Then you had games like Street Fighter 2, Mortal Kombat, Zelda, all that shit, bruh. Came along. You got to understand, single player games saved it. And then even back, I think the perspective is different too, because in our age bracket, back when we did play multiplayer games, it wasn't the same, man. Somebody who played Smash Bros also played, Jak and Daxter. Because multiplayer games back then, it was only competitive amongst you and your friends. There was no online. So single player games was still always like the thing. So you got to understand, it is the backbone. It is the culture. It's never going to go anywhere. And I'm going to take it a step further. To add insult to injury, I hate to do this to the multiplayer only gamers. And I'm speaking only to the multiplayer only gamers that think they're superior for some reason. Please understand that not only is single player gaming the backbone, but when you guys get sick of games, the single player gamers are going to be there and they're going to uphold the culture. So eventually until a multiplayer game comes around, that you actually enjoy. Because on the unfortunate thing, I hate to say this, and it doesn't, what I'm about to say, if it don't apply, let it fly. Specifically when it comes to multiplayer gamers, a lot of y'all are trend hoppers. A lot of y'all are not capable of forming your own opinion. I'm gonna be honest, I don't even think half of y'all like the games that you play. You only play them because your favorite streamer, your favorite YouTuber plays them. Versus single player games, people who play, somebody who played Silk Song, somebody who played Hades 2, somebody who played Expedition 33, somebody who played Zelda, they played that with intent. They played it because they love it for the passion and the art. And those people are upkeeping the economy of gaming. So when you're screaming gaming is dead and you haven't bought a game in a year or two, you have to keep in mind those single player gamers are out there still buying all of these games, which eventually allows these publishers to create the multiplayer game that we subsidize you niggas. I'm not gonna lie. We subsidize you niggas. We are the culture. And this is coming from somebody who plays both. And the case in point is actually another TikTok. This further, shout out to this dude right here. This is a great video. This dude backs up what I'm talking about when I say a lot of multiplayer gamers, they're trend hoppers. And this right here is exactly what I mean right here. This dude made some really good points right here. Shout out to Youngsta. Oh, Youngsta. He said this.
Like all multiplayer games right now, like niggas are so like guide and fucking tips and tricks video made, bro. I remember niggas bought games. They opened up the box, pulled out the game, put that bitch in their system, and played that bitch without worrying, okay, let me spend my first 2 hours. What's the best way to get XP? What's the best loadout? What's the best meta attachments? What's the best low-level loadout? What's the best high-level loadout? What's the best perk setup? What's the best throwables? What's the best field upgrade? What's the best streaks? Like, you niggas dead ass cannot fathom just going into a game and naturally progressing.
And this is why I said earlier, I'm not even convinced half of y'all that play multiplayer games are even having fun. Because soon as the game comes out, you go straight on YouTube. And that's not to say single player gamers don't go on YouTube and look for help. But when it comes to single player games, I have to be stuck on a puzzle for a good amount of time before I go look for help. A lot of multiplayer niggas go straight to you. Niggas will go to the GameStop 12 a.m. release, drive home, open up YouTube while they installing the game, looking for the best build for their gun, the best build for their 2K character. And this is what I mean when I say a lot of y'all are trend hoppers. You don't think for yourself, and it's ruining games because y'all just want to do the meta. You're not exploring. You're not taking the time to. I missed the era of when Call of Duty would come out, and for the first 3 months, everybody just played the game and explored. You play, yeah, looking for the best TTK, just trying out different scopes, trying out different guns. In every match, some matches were a sweat fest, but the other half weren't. You get on the game day one, it's a fucking sweat fest, bruh.
Niggas got a fast track being good and still fucking suck.
Thank you. And that's another great point. You fast track to get good and then you never get good, bro. What's going on? What's going on? And this is what I mean when I say y'all ruin y'all own fun. That's why I thought it was funny when I covered that TikTok from the other day, and that dude was trying to argue that ball and gun gamers are happier people as a whole. No, you guys are not. All y'all do is bitch on social media about your games being full of microtransactions, cheaters, whether it's 2K or Call of Duty. The price of the game's going up. Y'all, the mechanics and glitches being, all y'all do is bitch about the games that y'all play. And then when you're not bitching about the games you claim to love, you're bitching about the games that you don't play. You bought Black Ops 7 talking about how could Expedition 33 win all those awards. I ain't heard of that shit. It sold 6 million copies in 6 months. Just because you haven't heard of it doesn't mean that it's irrelevant. It means you're not in the know. You're not as hip as you think you are. These are some good ass points. So like, don't get it twisted. Shit, I'm about to hop on a multiplayer game. I love multiplayer games too. I'm mainly talking to the ball and gun gamer types, the multiplayer onlys. You got to understand what he's saying is true, because I've seen some people make some crazy takes. There was one I meant to save. I'm gonna probably I got to pull it up for the next stream. But there's a take I saw on TikTok, and to be fair, the comment section roasted him. But he was just talking about older games, and you don't need to play them even if people say they're great. And I'm just like, bro, you can't become a legend unless time passes. Like you should go back and play certain games. He was basically telling people not to play older legendary games if they're interested in it. He was like, only stick to modern gaming. like, what kind of take is that, bro? Like, what are you talking about? You're gonna get old one day. Motherfuckers would be complaining about skill-based matchmaking and yet have no skill. That's what I'm saying. Complain. My favorite streamer said skill-based matchmaking sucks. What does it matter? You can't even get out of silver. You've been a silver savage in Overwatch for the last 10 years talking about skill-based matchmaking. Nigga, you're exactly where you need to be. I can kind of see that. Back then the controls used to suck sometimes. Yeah, some games didn't age well. That's not what he was arguing though. I got to find the video because I don't want to misquote anybody, but I know for a fact that's not what he was arguing. I do agree with that. Some games did not age well, but there are certain games that are just great, and if someone is interested in it, let them fucking play it, bruh. Why would you tell somebody don't play something? Because I'd argue that's the reason why, at least from mainstream rap, that's why we're in the position that we're in right now. Because it is a lot of people in the mainstream rap industry that don't appreciate the art form. They don't go back and listen to things and find inspiration. How can you? I don't care how talented you think you are. Everybody is inspired by something. So if you don't take the time to sit down and study the art form and the culture that you want to be a part of, you will never become a legend. Because you can't, you're not finding any fucking inspiration. Oh, I just magically came up with this shit. Even I don't know if you guys know, even Michael Jackson, he had a team of fucking writers, and yeah, obviously he was there writing and helping and shit. But even Michael Jackson, he didn't do it by himself. Like, I don't know where this fucking, you have no foundation. I don't know where this shit came from, but I have seen some people, and I get why he made this video. I have seen some people, to bring it full circle, hop online and just talk about how single player games are terrible and they're corny, and I'm just like, I hope you guys know you don't have to like single player games, but for the people who only play multiplayer games, I want you to know the only reason your multiplayer games exist is because single player games are the backbone of the industry. Y'all be trend hopping looking for the latest game. You can't progress in the present if you can't learn from the past. Ding 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 ding. I'm currently playing Metroid on GB, and I understand why people love Metroid. Tight shit. So this is a W take. And this one as well. I wish we could go back to the era of multiplayer where people had creative expression, but unfortunately, everybody just wants to do the meta. What else I got for you? This reminds me when EA was trying to push the narrative that single player gaming is dead and we should only focus on multiplayer gaming. Nah. And I feel like the unfortunate thing with EA trying to push that narrative is like multiplayer only gamers will see that article and try to hop on that narrative and push it. And I like, trust me, like if you're a multiplayer only gamer that doesn't play single player games, you do not want single player games to go by the wayside, because if you think your multiplayer games are bad now, they're going to get even worse, because the biggest advocates in the gaming industry are usually single player gamers. In terms of trying to improve things, I'm not going to lie, a lot of you multiplayer niggas bend over and take it in the ass. Y'all have no backbone. Every year y'all complain about 2K, and then every year I hop on Twitter, I hop on TikTok, and I see people bragging about how they got 15, 20 different builds. Like, how the fuck you got more builds in 2K than the builder allows? How did that happen? Yeah, raw, no lube. So I feel like that shit is a psyop. They're trying to gaslight people into thinking that shit, because at the end of the day, companies like EA, they would love to only make games like Madden and college football. Do you know why? Less work for them, less creativity, and then they could just pump it up with microtransactions. But the thing about single player games, and this is why I said single player gamers are the culture, single player gamers expect a certain level of quality. Otherwise, we not buying this shit. We not buying that slop. But unfortunately, when it comes to a lot of multiplayer only gamers, y'all do accept a lot of fucking slop. That's not to say there aren't any single player slop gamers out there. You Steam early access survival niggas, I'm on y'all ass. But single player games are the backbone, 100%, which is ironic because most of EA's success was single player. Yeah, they forgot where they came from. You gotta keep in mind that it's Suits running the business, so they don't remember. The people who started EA back in the 90s are not the same people running it today. Unfortunately. Paying mortgage on a game, but don't got a fucking car, bro. What you linking right here? Trying to copy that shit. Do multiplayer only players not pay attention to the game awards? No, they do. That's what I was talking about earlier. That's when they come out they cocoons, they come out they rock from under their rocks, and they start bitching about what win awards, knowing they didn't play anything. Sebastian Stan is playing Harvey Dent in the Batman 2. Source: The Hollywood Reporter. Okay. It's a good actor. I know Marvel's pissed. Single player guys make all the mods for the most part. Tell you shit. And here's another reason why single player games will always be better. You know what makes a great single player game great? Once it's established that it's great by the community, it always remains great. You know a unique problem that multiplayer online games have? Cheaters, hackers, exploiters, niggas making metas that break the fucking game. And here's an example right here on Arc Raiders. I've seen Shroud and I've seen Ninja bitching and moaning about fucking cheaters and shit like that. And there's a cheat going around in Arc Raiders where you can surpass the in-game's FOV and put it on 100,000, so you could basically see everything in the map. Arc Raiders PC players are bypassing in-game limits by modifying local config files to force ultra-wide FOV and high visibility presets. This exploit provides a significant competitive advantage. Basically, you can see everybody coming before they see you.
Everything. Like, I can see the future. I can see where everybody's going.
Just bragging about it on stream. Man, get this shit up. Come on.
There was a crawler somewhere, I think.
Bro, just why? The unfortunate thing about multiplayer games, even the best multiplayer games, you know a unique problem multiplayer games have? Even the best of the best multiplayer games. We could go from old school. We could go old school multiplayer like, I don't know, GoldenEye, all the way to modern day Overwatch 1. The fucking community always kills multiplayer games, bro. That shit don't happen for single player games, bro. Fucking in GoldenEye back on the N64, what was the short dude? You was a bitch if you played the short dude. What was it, like Lockjaw or some shit like that? What was it in Smash Bros? If you played Meta Knight, he was Odd Job, yeah. He was there's always something broken with this shit, bro. Noob tubes in Modern Warfare 2. The Akimbo, what was it? The Akimbo shotguns. Y'all remember that shit in Modern Warfare 2?
So much better than the Bob.
Got hackers.
It's actually dumb.
And that's and you know the crazy part is these hackers and these exploits and these broken things in these games it's what's leading to revisionist history. Because I don't know if y'all seen this. There was a tweet that went viral last week. I responded to it. If you follow me on Twitter, you've seen it. Somebody tweeted that Uncharted 4 got robbed in 2016 by Overwatch 1. Do you know why that narrative, and it went viral, do you know why that narrative is even able to be pushed? Because people don't have a fond perception of Overwatch right now. But I responded, and I'm not a big Overwatch fan. No, Overwatch 1 had everybody in a chokehold from like 2016 to 2019. Get the fuck out of here. Even I was sweating on that shit. But people don't remember it because we live in this fast internet age where they fucked, and then they fucked up Overwatch 2. Nobody's playing, you can't even access Overwatch 1. Like, bro, Uncharted 4 wasn't even the best Uncharted. What the fuck are we talking about here, bro?
No, I found him.
Single player games don't deal with that. Right. You would have no XQC without Overwatch 1.
This game looks fire. I might cop this. Oh yeah, you should definitely play this.
This motherfucker can see you around the corner from a mile away. This is what they doing in the game, bruh. This is what they doing in the game. And then the worst part is too, another unique problem multiplayer games have over single player games. Not only do you have hackers and exploiters in the game, then you got dumbasses who will try to gaslight you into thinking this shit doesn't exist or it's not that big of an issue. An example being XDefiant. XDefiant, one of its biggest issues was it was plagued with hackers. If you were in my stream, you saw I ran into 3 different hackers in the span of a fucking hour, and I tweeted about it. I showed footage, and people in the comments, oh no, that shit don't exist. They'll defend this shit. Now look at that shit. Dead as hell. There's all other things that game had issues with, but that shit dead as hell. Overwatch was so good that he killed lawbreakers, right? And people trying to rewrite history like, nah, we're not gonna do that. You're gonna give it its flowers. We're not gonna do that's bad karma to do that shit, bro. This shit looks terrible. This was going on. Shout out to the Arc Raiders community, man. Other news. Marvel Rivals. I'm tired. Marvel's Wolverine will likely release in September or October as Sony plans around GTA 6, says Jason Schreier. Marvel's Wolverine is the next major superhero game from Marvel Spider-Man developers Insomniac. The title is scheduled for fall 2026, and the industry insider Jason Schreier expected to release in September, October, as he believes Sony's planning their release calendar around GTA 6. At the 9:55 mark at the Ringerverse podcast episode discussing the most anticipated games in 2026, Bloomberg's Jason Schreier says, I think Wolverine is most certainly going to come out in September or October. Schreier suspects that Sony's planning its entire calendar around GTA and will not release anything within the Blast Zone. That's crazy that internally they're calling it the Blast Zone, bruh. Referring to GTA 6's current release date of November 19th. By the way, we don't know if that shit coming out November 19th. We don't even know. While GTA 6 is also launching on Xbox Series, Schreier believes it's kind of like a PlayStation exclusive, explaining that most of the sales will be on PlayStation and will sell a lot of PS5s. I agree, but it's mainly because there's just more PS5s out there. Shout out to Nightmare Clips with the $3 super chat. He says, if Overwatch didn't exist, we wouldn't get Marvel Rivals. Come on, bruh. Stop the revisionist history. That's a great point. Exactly. Well, that's a lot of people's favorite game right now. You wouldn't have got that without Overwatch. But people, that shit didn't deserve Game of the Year. Get the fuck out of here, bro. What was I about to say? I believe this news. This is a rumor, but I believe it. Most big games come out during the holiday season so that people can spend money on it during Christmas. So between September and November, I believe it. And this would be right before GTA 6 because you don't want to go after. December is a bad time to release a game, because families are spending money on Christmas, toys and games and stuff like that. Once the purchases are done, you have less likely to get sales. So like releasing it mid-December, late December would be stupid, even early. So I feel like October, it's gonna come out in October. Yeah, I remember. I almost forgot that game, but yeah, Overwatch came through like a hurricane. I believe it's gonna come out in October, and I'm looking forward to it. I feel like for me, Insomniac is on the clock. I really want to see what they do when it's not Spider-Man. And I'm hoping they stick the landing and they create something interesting. That it did, a shame too, because Battleborn could have pulled a Rainbow Six if they didn't drop a horrible update. Yeah, it killed Battleborn. Overwatch 1 killed Battleborn. It killed Paladins. It spawned Marvel Rivals. It's easily one of the most influential games of the last 10 years. And people trying to rewrite history like, oh no, Uncharted 4 should have. No, Uncharted 4 is not even the best Uncharted. Get the fuck out of here, bro. The shooter box stereotype may be real, says Windows Central. Data suggests that Xbox users love shooting things and are less interested in story-based RPGs. Let's see. During the Xbox 360 generation, Microsoft made a series then PlayStation's glow. Where's the data at, bruh? Microsoft, of course, does still plan to sell Xbox hardware. I reported last year that the next Xbox will effectively be a Windows PC, complete with a living room-friendly interface and an Xbox console with backward compatibility. Microsoft said as much as when I revealed a multi-year man, where's the data, bruh? There it is. Oh, wait. Funny ass thumbnail. Did somebody drop a super chat? Battleborn was fired. Nah, I don't know about that. Battleborn was a struggle-born game. Microsoft said as much when it revealed a multi-year mega partnership with AMD for next-gen Xbox party consoles, touting backwards compatibility. The next Xbox is going to be full Windows, fully open, support Steam. Yeah, we know. Rumors. Oh, man, where is the data? In any case, Xbox has found itself on the bottom rung of console sales race for many years now, losing out to PlayStation and Nintendo's month in, month out. Xbox future seems to resolve around... Did I scroll past it? Data shared by Alina Analytics paints a picture of an Xbox platform that punches above its weight, with heavily engaged users willing to turn up in droves for games that interest them. I initially became curious about this when PlayStation itself decided to launch Helldivers 2 on Xbox. If Xbox is doing so badly, as they often claim, why would Sony itself want to publish a game on Xbox? It seems that the old shooter box stereotype may be real. Oh, here's the data. That keeps going, that's why. Interesting. So PS5 sells more hardware as a whole, but when it comes to shooting games in terms of per capita, if that's the word I'm looking for, in terms of ratio, in terms of who owns it, the platform to the number of players, Xbox beats out PlayStation almost. No, it's close, basically. I mean, this is no surprise. It's been like this since this Gears of War. Does this surprise anybody? The Xbox is the shooter guy thing. I thought this number would have been higher, but maybe Game Pass changed some of y'all taste. Lawbreakers was fire. I liked Lawbreakers. Battleborn had 6 months, a year after it dropped in the winter 20. man, Battleborn sucked, bro. I don't want to hear that shit, bro. That's what I'm talking about. Here we go with that revisionist history. Battleborn was not a good game. It wasn't a horrible game either, but it wasn't that good. Like, nah. I'm good. I played that shit. I'm good off that, man. Naughty Dog used to be my favorite developer before The Last of Us 2. Now it's Insomniac and Rockstar. Naughty Dog hatred. Switch 2 sales have slowed. Switch 2 sales have slowed over Christmas, down 35% in the US compared to the Switch 1. That's according to the games business, which reports that following a record-breaking launch earlier in the year, Switch 2 sales in the US over the holiday period between November and December were down almost 40% compared to the Switch 1, which managed during the same period in 2017. It was a similar picture in the UK, with sales being sales for the last 8 weeks of the year were 16% slower than the Switch 1 in the same period. In France, the Switch 2 sales in 2025 were over 30% lower than that of the Switch 1. Damn, bruh. Switch 2 is cooked. Why are the sales down? I have two reasons why I think. A, the economy is just bad. People are tightening their belts. They don't want to spend money. You got tariffs. You got the president. You got the president of the United States who wants to win a Nobel Peace Prize, starting a new war every week. Because friendly reminder, we bombed Nigeria. We destabilized Venezuela. We're threatening to invade Greenland. Your president, not mine. So every week he's starting a new war. Then you got the tariffs. So I think Americans are just kind of like, I can't speak for the rest of the world, but at least in America, I think people are just tightening their belts, preparing for the worst. And then two, I think some of it might be, I wonder if people who got this, the people who really wanted to switch to, they got it. But after that, you said, wait, we bombed Nigeria? Yes, we did. I need y'all guys to read the news. I need y'all to read the news. I did not know that. Goddamn. Yes, guys, the president of the United States, there's a 99, just to protect myself. I'm saying it this way. There's a 99.99% chance that the president of the United States is a fucking pedophile. And he's doing everything that he can to distract you from it. So he's just starting wars, bombing people. Got ICE agents on the street shooting people. RIP to that lady. Well, I think her name was Renee. And it's all to distract you from the fact that he is a fucking pedophile. It's gonna come out one way or another, at least I hope. Yeah, now he's also talking about invading Mexico, yeah, and I think another place, but that's beside the point. Besides the turmoil going on in the country, I also think that a lot of people who really wanted to switch to, they already got it day one. I don't know what's the temperature on the Switch 2 for everybody else who's on the fence, like 50-50. You got people who will never buy a Switch 2 because they just don't like Nintendo. You got people who really want one, who were there day one. They lined up at GameStop. And then you got the people in the middle, kind of like me. I'm just waiting for like probably the Dust Bloods. I don't know if there's high interest for it right now. Especially after the reviews for Mario Kart World didn't really do too well. I'm still on the fence. Same. Yeah, that's me because fuck Nintendo. Yeah, I think there's actually a lack of interest. I think it's, and that's why there's that saying that it's not about how you start, it's how you finish. It could be a case of the tortoise and the hare. The hare ran real fast as soon as the gun went off to start the race, but now it's kind of getting slow halfway through the race. I think we need more data because I mean this is just based off like the last couple months, but we're gonna be paying attention to this. I'm curious to see if more articles like this come out in the next 6 months to a year. I'm curious to see if the sales continue to slow. But my gut tells me I feel like people who are already super interested in it already, they got it. And then the economy is kind of shaky right now. I read a report. This is the worst economy we've had since I think 2020. And back then at least it was like COVID going on. This nigga's just acting crazy. Not interested in Switch 2. There's a lot of Switch 1 games to play. I feel that. Why is the OLED $400? The Switch 1? That's a good question. I don't know. It said 2003. I don't want to misquote that article. I don't remember. I think it said COVID. I was scrolling. I didn't read that one. I got to look it up later. I mean, we could look at it now, actually. What would I search? America's economy down. Let's see. Let's go to news. Anything he says is not a joke, he means it. What? Huh? What? Fucking go to the news. It was something about the jobs market is like the worst it's been. Oh wait, here we go. Red flag of the U.S. economy as jobs growth falls the worst, and that's the one. Yeah, jobs growth falls the worst since 2003 outside of a recession. You know what else was going on back then in 2003? Your boy Asmongold made fun of somebody who brought it up in the chat. He's like, "This is just like Iraq. It's repeating ourselves. We're gonna be in Venezuela for another 10 years." Yeah, I saw the Blade news. Unfortunately, I saw that shit too. I responded to that. Y'all gotta follow me on Twitter, man. I've been active. I've been responding to everybody. Boom, boom. Let's see right here. Oh shit, my shit going kind of viral. Got 2,000 likes. Blade is rumored to be canceled at Marvel Studios. Marvel will be pivoting to a Midnight Suns movie. I would prefer a Blade movie and then a Midnight Suns movie. Like, why are we running? I'm gonna be honest, the Midnight Suns is not something mainstream people know. That's a comic book fans thing, bruh. Everybody knows Blade though, so like build into it. Like, oh my god. It almost feels like maybe they feel like Blade can't carry a film by himself, which is crazy because Blade saved Marvel from bankruptcy. At this point, any type of Blade in the Marvel universe, seen is believing for me. But I think it's disrespectful he didn't get a solo film. I think it's disrespectful.